If you're new here, welcome. And to my regular fan base, welcome back. So, in this live video, there's going to be many insights as to the next layer of my son's and his father's comeback story being provided. Now, there's a lot to unpack here, and this is going to be a long live. So I should put that at the forefront. Um, Before I go any further, I just wish to say a massive thank you to each and every one of you being my subscribers. I never realized how fast this channel could grow. I knew I had a powerful story and message to tell. And my message, as in my own mess, and raising awareness relating to another person's message, relating to another person's message behind, learning from myself. Please excuse the ding in the background. And yes, in this life, there's going to be a lot to unpack. Now, before I go any further, I just want to say again a massive thank you, because without each and every one of you as my and my son's subscribers, there would be no insights being provided. There would be very little awareness being showcased. I've um, I've looked and I've studied online, and there's very few people who are documenting, um, like I've been for the last what is it now, 30 plus videos I've done and created. Um, as this channel has grown, people have messaged me saying, can they share my YouTube channel to friends of theirs who are going through parental alienation themselves, because they feel that my content could help them. And look, man, if I can just help one person, just one, I'm a happy soul, really. But if I can help many people by providing insights of authenticity, purity, and truth relating to my journey, I'm very satisfied at that, and it keeps me going, as in having the energy to make these videos. These videos at the time of this being posted, it's 20 to midnight, and I want my fans to know that all day long, post family court proceedings, I'm now in a position where although I did wrestle, not as I would have liked it to have gone, but the main part is my innocence was proven. Last court proceeding, number one. Number two, I was able to wrestle back contact. I would have liked it in the community, preferably non-supervised, but supervised, preferably non-supervised at best, or at worst supervised in the community, right? I did not want to see my son at a contact center. I didn't, and I wasn't going to at first, but I have to realize that it's not about me, it's about him. And you know last year I saw my son at a contact center as well, and it was very hard. It was hard for me, with the psychological ramifications of being creepily stared at and studied, but it was even harder for my son. And now, a year on, as he's become older, it's going to be even harder for my son. And in a way, I do blame myself, and we'll get to that via the emails, following the description of this very life. There's a lot to unpack. Um, so I just wish to say, before I dive straight in after the cold open, I just want to say that if you recall in my last live video, I mentioned that this story needs to be told incredibly carefully and articulately. The reason for this is that so much has transpired and happened that I'm afraid of getting the viewer lost in so much activity. And it does need to be told very, like, whether it's current, and I reveal things that have happened current, and then go into the past and reveal current again, so it makes sense. Sometimes I have to go back, and then going forward it'll make sense, and then the forward turn to the back, the past. You know what I'm saying? And there's all these things that I'm just all day long. I've been thinking and thinking and thinking. How am I going to make this work? How am I going to make sense to my viewer? How am I going to um, tell a story of just that keeps people engaged and captivated and wanting more and more and more. Insights to be showcased, evidence being put forth, and authenticity, purity, truth, love, sincerity, and ultimately um, just the absolute truth. How am I going to do this when I've got so many voice recordings, so much data, but I've always found a way, no matter the odds in my life. It's how I've got to where I've gotten. And I hope you like the new layouts. This, what you see behind me, is I tributed my wife who passed to COVID. That's our wedding pictures there, you see. And I've got some nice lava novel lamps on. Hopefully you can see them and you enjoy it. They go nicely together, don't they? The reds and the rainbow one. What I'll do is I'll move the laptop closer in, not now, but as we progress through the live, when we get to the voice recording parts, and then it will be more enjoyable for the viewer, I think, whilst listening. Because we're going through some heavy things tonight. I'm going to be honest, but it's the truth. But we're going to end with positives, a couple of very good positives as well. It's important as well for me to not just go on about accountability and keeping the authorities accountable. Yeah, this is a big part of what we're doing, me and my son. But additionally, I feel that it's also just as important to have the light with the darkness. And I guess you could argue, hence the light behind me right now. We need light. It's like hero and villain films, right? Yeah, the hero's great and all, but there can be no hero without the villain. What meaning does the hero have without the villain? By the same token, what meaning does the darkness have without any light shown? It can't just be doom and gloom. And I want to also additionally, I've been thinking all day about ideas I have, and we'll get to that at the end. It's about shorts I'm about to create, 3-minute shorts of the emotions, the emotional, psychological, and spiritual development of my son. And thanks to the power of Facebook, there's music, there's filters to enhance and enrich the what you're putting forth, and I'll illustrate this as we get through the live here. What else? As I say, this is a story that needs to be shown in a very real, raw, honest, truthful way, but also in a deliberate, intentional way. You know, um, it has to be so that it makes sense, and I don't um, confuse people. So, with all this said, because I'm even talking 10 minutes now, I'm going to jump straight in. Now, this is following a video I had shown in the last live of all things, your beard scratching your child's face, which was proven. You can't make this stuff up. Now, you're going to hear bits and pieces of the second case, but I won't go into full detail here. That'll be saved for future lives and uploads because everything's timing, and the content that I have in this live, I don't want to overwhelm people because there's like 4 or 5 things to get through and it will take time. But I just wish to showcase of the father's efforts behind post court and getting their meetings set up by being able to wrestle contact again with my son following the judge's final judgment made post court proceedings, which was not last week, 2 weeks ago. Last week was the fallout of the non-molestation / injunction order. But yes, I am going to show a lot right now, and the second case at times will be touched on when you hear me read out the emails, but I won't. Again, I'll just save what happened in the second case for future uploads because there's a lot to get through here. With all this said, let me dive straight in now to, and I've got my notes filling down here. So we're gonna go over first my son, and we're gonna prove right now. This isn't the first case when my beard scratched following my last video. This is what I've been accused of in the second case. The father's name was cleared due to no evidence against the father because there wouldn't be, it never happens. But right now, we're going to showcase who the actual abuser really is. And what you're about to see is the last time I saw my son. I created a Facebook story earlier on and I did a screen recording. So I'm hoping it will make sense. But I'm going to let this speak for itself. This is post injunction orders / non-molestation order a few days after it was served to me. And I had to walk away or get my son to leave, I should say, after seeing him in the shop. And he listened to me. But I'm going to let this speak for itself now. And with all this said, 3, 2, 1.
Come and see you. Have you just seen me now and save us?
I saw you.
Yeah? Are you sure? There's your nan. I'm taking a video for my protection because your nan's got an injunction order. Listen, the hearing's coming up. It's going to be okay, all right? Are you being good for your nan?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Good.
I never forget I love you. Okay? I love you very much. You know that. All right? And I'll see you soon, okay? All right? I have to go. Because the court order, so your nan's put an injunction order out, alright? But I have to go, but I'm videoing this for my protection. You go with your nan now, okay? I love you. Bye, Mer. And Holy Spirit, Holy Spirit. Did Nana
Yeah.
tell me what happens. Tell me.
My dad shouted at me for just going to my dad to the park.
When I saw you on Friday?
I was sad.
After she left us?
Yeah.
Yeah, so whose fault's that? Nana left us, didn't she? And then she shouted at you and took Alan Austin. That's not nice, is it?
Yeah.
Right? Don't worry, son. Evidence will be through this soon, I promise you. Okay? I love you. Okay? You know the truth. Huh? You know I love you. Yeah. It's not my fault. Are you sure? It's all my fault. Yeah. Thanks, son. I appreciate that. Do you want to come with Dad for a walk somewhere?
Yeah, I'm going home, please. And you're not supposed to be with Dad.
Should Dad stay or should Dad go? Shall I stay? See, he wants me to stay.
But you know,
Nana,
Tell me.
first we were on Boca, and then Nana
Now she's about to be exposed.
was and then we the name was Elise.
Okay.
And she didn't really said it. And then when she pulled my hair when it dried, good.
She pulled your hair?
Yeah, when it dried. And also powder. And then the lady pushed me out. And then I had to say, ow, and the gold. That's not my fault.
I know, son. I know it's not your fault. Don't worry, son. Don't worry. Right, we're going to have you on phone now. He's saying sorry, Maria. It was an accident, you know? He didn't...
No, but he's terrible outside as well.
Oh, okay.
Good anymore. He was nice.
Oh. Since I backed off, he's no good, no? Okay.
He shouted. Coffee shop, they had to throw him out.
But he used to be good, didn't he?
Yeah, when he was smaller. Now he's getting worse.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He screams, he shouts, he's terrible.
He's a terrible boy, yeah? Okay. He's saying sorry. It was an accident, Marie. Didn't it?
I'm not talking about this. I'm talking other things. He's terrible.
Is he terrible, is he?
So that was a bit tough to get through, and I'm sorry about that heaviness there. Deep breath. Now, before I go any farther with this live, I want to say for the record that whilst I heavily dislike my son's nan, I do love her and I do respect her. Well, the reason for this is because so I've touched on where I came from, you know, under the mental health system umbrella. I grew up in a care system 4 to 18, and then I was in the mental health supported accommodation system until the age of 29. Living with all kinds of issues, schizophrenia, borderline personality disorders, heroin addicts, to name just but a few. Now, my record, number one, is very big, lots of violence. You can see the scars on my knuckles here from endless fighting. And that's the old me. And the reason I used to be violent is because I was in the psychological warfare and ramifications of living with madness. You know, you do, when you don't relate to these people, no disrespect to heavy illnesses or other issues like drugs or alcohol, but when you don't relate to these individuals, you end up going a bit crazy yourself, and you do, you know, get angry. And I did, you know. Just for context, in one of my old hostels, a guy in the communal lounge in the living room, he was on heroin. Right in front of my eyes, he shot himself in the arm with a needle. And I still see that to this day. I have flashbacks because it was just so disturbing to me. And I guess what I'm saying is going back to my son's nan and why I love and respect her. My son's mum, my wife, fell in love with me as I did with her, but it was her mum who allowed me to live with her at her house. They wanted a baby, and I gave that to them with my beautiful son. And he is a beautiful son. He's a beautiful boy. And I'm proud to have done my part in raising him from the emotional, psychological, and spiritual perspective. I truly am. And nobody can take this truth away from us. Nobody. And this will be proven at the end of this life. But I just want to say, like, and another thing, so that's why I love and respect her, because who am I? Like, I could be this, as a lady, as a woman, she took a chance, right? Where I came from, knowing who I lived with, she wanted her daughter happy and wanted a baby. She allowed me to live with her. That's why I love her and respect her. I strongly dislike her because I wanted to co-parent peacefully, amicably, 50-50. That's what I wanted. That's my son's biological father. I felt that, that was for my son. That was the right thing to do, right? Um, and we didn't need to go this route and getting the family courts involved. But when it comes to greed for money and financial gain, people will do anything. And she's got a lovely, after forcing special guardianship, which was granted because of my past and neurodiversity, she's been granted special guardian, and she gets £800 a month carers allowance, excluding and blacklisting the father from the son's life until I proved my innocence, and in court, and I did. I should also put forth that I understand, whilst I don't like what's happened, I do understand the reasons behind as to why it's happened. Who am I to my son's nan? What's the emotional, what's the psychological, what's the spiritual ties between me and mother in law, with the exception of her daughter, who's now with the angels, right? And my son slash her grandson. There are no ties. So that's why I understand why she's done what she's done. Still hurts a lot, and I've had to do a lot of groundwork, and I've had to work. Like, my business has taken a massive hit, really has. And as I should, I've put my son way above the pedestal over work, and I've always fighted for my son. And I'm glad I did, because it's enabled me to get to where I am now, but it's cost me a lot of money and a lot of energy. But my boy keeps me going, and so does God. For those of you who don't know, I'm a Christian. I will never force my beliefs on anybody. This is not a religious stream, but I go to mass and I go to church, and you know lately I've been asking for a lot of guidance, going on my knees and crying and begging, and he's always provided me with a way as to what to do. He has, and I asked for guidance with legal firms and getting represented. Um, I do have merits to go to high courts, not that the judge ordered, because I chose what I've just shown you. What this live, what I've just shown you, being whoever my audience, being whoever watched the video here, of my son's nan abusing my child physically and emotionally alike. I didn't show it at the judge when I represented myself. I represented myself as my words needed to be put at the forefront and heard. I generally did feel and believe that. And we'll get to that in future uploads as to why I dispelled with my disgusting legal aid team, National Legal Service Firm, who just didn't care at all. And that'll be uploaded in a future video. Again, there's so much content of mine, I don't want to confuse people. I'm telling a lot about myself. I'm showing, I'm being vulnerable here and showcasing a lot of my past, and there's a lot of things coming at the audience right now at a rapid fast rate, and I want to make it sense, make it make sense. Sorry. But stay in the course here. I didn't show this at the hearing before the judge made his final judgment, because of my past and because of my neurodiversity. I knew, had I shown what I'd shown right now, or 5 minutes ago, whenever this video I showed, how long ago it was, I think it was just over 5 minutes, 7 minutes now, ago, that had I shown this, my son would pose a significant risk of going into the care system. And after he had lost his mummy, who's with the angels, I couldn't ever forgive myself if this happened. So as always, I do things the hard way. And I do things the hard way. If you do what is easy, your life will be hard. If you do what is hard, your life will be easy. I love this quote for the simplicity and the effects that the quote embodies. And the speaker called Les Brown said this. I love Les Brown. He's a motivational speaker. I've learned a lot from him. But yeah, that's the reason why I never showed it to the judge. Now, the judge was well within his rights to not allow me merit to appeal. And he was, because he's right. I didn't show him the evidence. I explained the reasons behind it. Now, even though he didn't grant me merit, that's not to say that I don't have merit. And this leads me into my next segue. The last 5, 6 days, I've been so busy trying to navigate, calling up relentlessly with a sincere pursuit, family called firms, people who are willing to take on my case. I had to learn quickly the art of telling a lot and condensing it down because it's all about time and it's all about money. That's all these sick FUCKS care about, the majority of these legal firms. It's parental annihilation corruption that ties into the political agendas that is run. And a lot of us know this sad truth, right? But this is, and I've gone on to explain each and everything, all these things, so that the next part that you will hear following, now that we've got um, exposed who the actual abuser is, now I'm going to show a voice recording that I sent out to my son's independent reviewing officer earlier on today. Um, I apologize if the quality is a little bad, but I think overall you can hear it. Allow me to just move this laptop in a bit better. Um, that's it. I'm just trying to, yeah, hopefully you can see those novel lamp lights while you're listening to this voice audio. Let's listen to this now. And another layer of this story that I'm trying to make sense to the viewer will be put forth. Right, give me a second. You can always trust in the ads, can't you? Oh, bear with me here, guys. Apologies for this. It's the but it's gone to an advert. Here we go. No worries. Right, 3, 2, 1, play.
It's Christopher Murray, Austin Murray's father. So, a few things. I've just spoken to the interim social worker, somebody actually phoned for once and doesn't ghost, which is, wow. But I've asked her and I've quizzed her as to, because bearing in mind everybody ghosts me, so I've been sending videos to everybody, interim social worker, Claire, I can't do you because you're not on WhatsApp, although I did send you 2 videos to your email proving who the actual abuser really was and currently most likely is, with my son Austin Murray being his man. And also in the judge's evidence, he admits there's no proof against the father. I've additionally sent a screenshot over to the interim social worker in relation to this, that there is no proof against the father. I am taking this up with, I'm fighting for legal aids. I am. I'm gonna be on it. This isn't right. It's not. I can't control where I came from nor my past. I can't. But again, it's my belief, although I can't prove it, Pamela. It's where I came from, and it's my lack of life experience. It's not. Dr. Corson in her report said it shouldn't affect my parenting capabilities necessarily, and she also commended me for finding a way for my son. These are facts, okay? I'm perfectly imperfect, like most people are, who have had normal lives and who don't have neurodiversity. But I'll tell you this, very few will know my strength, very few will understand how hard I've pushed for my son, right? Nobody can take that away from me, and I make my child feel he wants to constantly see his dad up. That's because I did the work. I did the work and I raised him with so much emotional love and sincerity and playfulness, as I keep saying. I also want you to know that whilst I've been accused of being narcissistic by the authorities, I want you to know that in 2017, upon walking away from the system, I didn't have a chance to get ready. I had to be ready. I had to learn to trust my own judgments, and just because I strongly disagree with many members of authority, like they strongly disagree with me, and that's okay. Does that make me narcissistic? I don't think so. I think I have strong opinions. But the problem is when people say many things about you from different types of positions, you start to believe it, even though you know it's a lie. I'll give you the fact that my attitude could be better. I'll give people that. But people are asking, or individuals are asking the world that my attitude to be better. When you consider, like, where I came from, right? I found a way for my son, no excuses. But then to be met with a year closure of your discretion, your son's faith, which has been proven,
The last video.
and then strangulation accusations, right, which judge said was not proven. You wonder why my attitude is bad against the authorities. You wonder why when upon my son being stripped away from me last year, right? And I had to undergo all these tests wrongfully. But it is what it was because of the accusations. Not wrongfully entirely, because maybe that's the wrong words, because yeah, they were assessing me for my parenting capabilities. But look, I was very emotionally exhausted back then, and my attitude was as bad as it was, both with context and with the assessments alike, because of the accusations, because of being emotionally exhausted. And if individuals cannot see this, then I give up on human nature. I really do. All I can say is that, I don't like it, but I have to see my son out of context in it. Again, be creepily observed and studied. Again, psychologically it's going to damage my son. Again. But at least this time around I've had time to heal, right? I have. And this time around it will be different, I can assure everybody. But here are the facts. I'm not perfect, but I'm innocent. The judge said that in his report. There was no proof against the father. I've shown you who the actual abuser is with his name. And I've done this with many people, including people I'm in talks with, okay? And I want what's best for my son. I don't want him being abused and him being scared. And I will be consistent in the issue if I have to, you know. I just want to be treated fairly, and I want my son to feel safe. That's all. I love my son, and nobody can take that away from me. Nobody. Nobody can. Nobody can take away how my son feels about his dad from him. And even if they can, everything's stored. Everything is stored. I've got many videos, I've got it all. My son, even if he is corrupted, as he gets older, he'll know the truth one day.
And you will.
Nobody's going to take that away from us. Nobody. At least the interim social worker has picked up the phone. She's emailed me Virginia's email address. Not that it will do anything, but, these people are sick. And while they deflect and say that I'm a quote-unquote narcissist, my belief is it's merely deflection and it's a projection on their own insecurities. Because a lot of people in authority are indeed narcissists.
They are.
I don't think this, I know this. And, these people, there's a special place for these people after this life. And as I say, I see it all the time. They're not the happiest of people. The body language, the mannerisms, how they are. That's karma, man. That's karma from the universe. Because they know they're pieces of SHIT, what they do. And it's all part of the political agendas to corrupt the system. Many people go through it, it's not just me. But there's a price to pay in that. Karmically. And that means that.
To listen to your message, press 1.
So at that point, it had ended, but a few things to unpack here. So back in 2017, as I say, I left before I showcased that voice recording. I had left the system, and as I say, I didn't have a chance to get ready. I had to be ready. And when you consider being protected by the system for your entire entire life, right? All of a sudden, I had to get my first job, which was a very toxic one. Being a labourer, started out in construction, and you know, worked my way up the books towards being a bricklayer, and then COVID came in 2020, obviously, and then I questioned what am I going to do with my life, as we all did. How are we going to be resourceful, right, and find a way when it felt like the world was ending, you know. But I also wish to say as well that you would have heard, so I may as well come out and say it. In the second case, 2 weeks after the first case closed, with the beard scratching my son's face, as was proven in the video before this, when I showcased the social worker, and you heard him say it was my beard. Whole year, right? Can't make the stuff up, man. You can't. This is why I'm documenting it. This is why I'm trying to provide insights to everybody who's been, excuse my language, fucked over by the authorities and the system, just because you have a past, just because, like, people don't understand the reasons as to why you've got a past. Or maybe they do understand, but it carries no emotional valence, because there's no motivational significance that ties into their own job role behind it being understood properly. All they care about is driving you into the ground, into the dirt. They want to showcase everybody in a bad light. They don't focus on the good stuff now, do they? They don't focus on so yeah, I'll say it quickly and then proceed, but like to the next part. But they don't showcase the good stuff, as in, you know, we're in 2025 now. I've done a lot in 8 years. I've invested heavily into myself, the best speakers in the world of heavy influence and affluence, educationally speaking, so I could learn the art of communication, how to speak well, diligently, powerfully, diligently. Like how I could learn strategies as to how I conduct myself when I communicate. And I did that to counter my lack of life experience in the real world. And 2025, 8 years on, I've got my own house, cash outright, being bought, got my own business. I've done more than my fair share of raising that beautiful, bright, shining light, my son, from the emotional, psychological, and spiritual perspective, and just giving him such a beautiful, playful personality. And this will be showcased at the end of this live. But you also heard about strangulation, so I may as well tell the story. 2 weeks after the first case had closed, I took my son to the maze, where children can easily scratch themselves on the neck by a thistle, right? And that's what happened with my son. He was playing with his friends in the maze, and then I just left him to it, and then I heard massive screaming, and his neck was really red from a thistle. And I touched his neck gently to see the extent of the injury, and that was my mother-in-law's way to accuse the father. My belief is that she had accused the father of strangulation. And we're going to go deeper here in the next part of this live video, which is going to be an email threads, where there'll be more bits of information put forth in relation to this. So let me now recite some emails here. So following the voice recording that I'd sent, now this is where I think I finally got a response from my son's social worker manager, because being that my son's independent reviewing officer, she has like more power over the local authorities, right? Meaning that when I left her a voice message saying that everyone ghosts, as you heard, right? I think she may have had her words. And all of a sudden, um, I get an email after I sent an email to the manager and I said the following: I've spoken to the independent reviewing officer and I'll request a meeting to be set up so that we can discuss my son. Kindly arrange one if possible. Kindest regards, Christopher Murray, Austin Murray's father. And this is her response: Dear Mr. Murray, thank you for your email. I have CC'd in Abby to arrange, that's my son's social worker, to arrange a suitable time for us to meet up. She will email you date and time. Focus of the meeting following the court's judgment will be review of indirect video contacts, how we can progress to virtual 30-minute supervised video contacts, and when we will review this to determine moving to supervised face-to-face contact at the contact centre. If there is anything else you want us to put into the agenda, please do let Abby know. That's my son's social worker. So here's what I said, right, in response. Isn't it amazing I am not being ghosted after declaring to you that I'm showcasing data to my legal team? As soon as you become aware of this, in addition to me calling up the independent reviewing officer and speaking to her and by leaving her a voice message, I get an email from you. It's very heartbreaking that it has to be this way, just so that I am remotely treated like a human being by the local authorities. I have left my son's independent reviewing officer a voice messages as showcased here, and I like to think, in conjunction with my legal team, that this has aided towards your swift response. I'm sure you will give a generic answer like you all do. I was busy, I was in meetings all day. And you will say that this is as well as anything else you wish to add behind the reason you're not taking my phone calls. I would respectfully add to the list following your last email behind topics of discussion, talking about my son's safety after I have proven to you who the actual abuser really is via the 2 videos of my son's nan physically and emotionally harming my son Austin Murray. And in order to promote transparency and accountability, I wish to add this to the list of topics of discussion, as it's my right to do such following the safety concerns I have of my son's psychological and emotional health. Remember, the judge said that no evidence against the father was proven in his final judgments. Meanwhile, I have proven that it is indeed my son's nan who is the actual abuser, and I wish to discuss this with you as I'm concerned for my son's welfare and emotional psychological health. This email shall be forwarded to my legal team to promote transparency and accountability. I will go to any lengths and will not stop with my truth, which can be proven, so that the father has a chance to be a key figure in his biological son's life. I will share with you a video of me speaking to indirectly to my son Austin Murray tomorrow, every Wednesday following the court order, which is tomorrow because at the time I'm posting this live, it's a Tuesday. So every Wednesday I've got to send a video to my son and talk to him indirectly, you know. So just for clarity there. Austin always calls for his father because I make my son feel, that's my son, and I did so much of the groundwork ever since he was a baby from the emotional and playful perspective, and I can prove this and will message much of this when I feel is the correct timing for me to do such. My son may have been bought from me with money, but know this. He may have been bought with money and taken with lies, but know this, right? Money can never buy authenticity, purity, and truth. And as my son becomes older and awakened and aware, educated and empowered, you will see this in his purest form. Kindest regards. And then I sent then she responded, Dear Mr. Murray, this is the manager now. I am not sure what you're speaking on. I was not ghosting you, as you put it. You have my email details, including those of the allocated social worker. tried to contact the social worker so many times. I tried to call the manager so many times, and I emailed her so many times prior, but she's never responded until now. Of course, she'll deflect. Continuing on with her email, um, if you have tried to contact me via email, I would have responded. However, the social worker has informed me that you have sent info to my work mobile. Oh, here's the great part, right? This is what these cowards do. Unfortunately, my work mobile is not working at the moment and it's being fixed. If I had, like, I would be a millionaire the amount of times I've been told this by the social workers, over the years. Phone was broken, or I'm busy, or I'm in meetings. They lie, man. They lie so much. They're gutless cowards who lie. Um, but yeah, unfortunately, my work mobile is not working at the moment and has been fixed. Following last week's judgment, I believe it was made clear how the local authority would progress contact between you and your son. I will not be able to speak on any evidence you did not produce to court during the 3 days contested final hearing. I went over the reasons as to why this was because I feared my son going into care. But anyway, she goes, the following orders came into effect from Wednesday, 14th of May 2025. The special guardianship order, the care order, the non-molestation order, and the exclusion order in section 34 order are all in place. As Judge Williams informed you that it is within your right to make an application to appeal his ruling within 21 days with the High Court, and that's why I've been working tirelessly on that. That's what I've been working tirelessly on. And why I've been absent from video uploads the last few days. But although I do hope that this video can justify it with the length and what I'm putting forth information wise. Based on our assessments and interventions, the local authority is not concerned about Austin' safety in the care of his grandmother. I showed them the video of my son being abused. Go figure. Neither was his court guardian, the judge nor the independent reviewing officer. We are visiting him and monitoring the care he has been given, and no safeguarding concerns have been identified. Therefore, for our meeting, I will only be able to speak to you reviewing content and how we can progress this. And here's what I sent back. Whilst it is indeed true that I did not show evidence of my son being abused before the judge had made his final judgment, it was indeed done to protect my son from potentially going into the care system. And after my son has already lost his mummy to COVID-19, this would destroy him. My belief is that I acted in the best interest for my son pertaining towards the aforementioned points. The local authority have made me out to be an absolute monster, yet the fact remains that the father has not abused his biological child following inconclusive evidence in the judge's report. However, it should be noted that I submitted evidence of my son being abused by his nan, physically and emotionally alike, to Emily, that's his previous social worker, when I did my drug and alcohol tests at the contact centre last year, which I can prove, and who is my son's former social worker but is now on maternal leave. I also have voice recordings from phone conversations with the local authority, openly admitting that they were aware of my son being abused, but just would have a word with my son's nan about this. Direct quote from a voice recording of mine. I shall attach 2 videos of my son being abused and a follow-up email, the same ones I've shown in this live video and the audience here. In a follow-up email, and I'm respectfully demanding that we speak of this at our meeting so that my son's father can be assured that he is safe with his nan and not being physically and emotionally abused nor neglected. I will also call the police and get a welfare check done if you can't be bothered to do your job and listen to concerns from the father. Yes, you are correct regarding me not submitting evidence of Maria, my son's nan, at the actual hearing, and I've explained why this is to you, why this is the case, which has given me grounds to appeal. Keep deflecting and dodging accountability all you like, but in the end, the truth will come out, I assure you. I shall attach 2 videos of my son being abused to you in a follow-up email now for your information. Kindest regards, Christopher Murray, Austin Murray's father, my son. Yeah, so, again, going back to the judge not granting me merits, and he's right, because I didn't submit my evidence. That's not to say that I don't have merit, and I've been working tirelessly in order to get that and have legal teams reach out to me, and I'm in talks with a few, just for the record there. There is one more email to get through, and then we will proceed to the last part of this video and end on a good positive note. I have sent everyone 2 videos following my last email of my son being physically and emotionally abused by his son. The local authority claimed that I manipulate and control situations, direct quotes. Meanwhile, I find it highly astonishing that the local authority feel this way about my son's father when I tell nothing but the truth and do not deflect blame nor tell lies. I tell the truth. And whilst Dr. Bosi, that was the, I had to go to a psychiatrist and be assessed there. That's to come in future uploads. And whilst Dr. Bosi mentioned in his report that he thinks that I may have narcissistic traits just because I trust my own judgment and I'm sure of myself, know this. In 2017, when I left the mental health system, I didn't have a chance to, as I've already mentioned in this life, didn't have to get ready. I had to be ready for my son. And at the expense of sounding narcissistic, I will add to what Dr. Corson, the psychologist I saw, said about me in her report when she said I found a way for my son. I would say and add it was a miracle considering where I came from and my past under the mental health system umbrella. The local authority won't wish to hear of this though, as it showcases the father in a good light. I also have my own home bought cash outright and my own business which I'm successful at. I'm proud of finding a way for my son and will always be resourceful in order for me to find yet more ways for him as he becomes older. And it's true. I've always found a way for my son because he's my why. Just like each and every one of your own children, if you've been affected by parental annihilation or know a dear friend of yours who has been affected by parental annihilation and you see firsthand, whether it's yourself or your friends, or you know of people, friends of friends, that you see firsthand the debilitating effects that this has on yourself and most importantly your child slash children, really it is a massive journey. It's a journey, and it's a battle. It's a spiritual battle. I think it's a spiritual battle of knowing what to do, what to say, when to put what forth at what time, and how you're going to conduct yourself and things like this. And you know, all I can say is, look, I've done my absolute best for my boy, and you know. There is one more email I forgot to mention. Sorry about this, but it's relevant. This is before I show a beautiful positive video at the end of my son acknowledging his father's efforts, which was one of the reasons why contact was suspended to begin with, because I showed my son the truth. I made him feel. I showed him who the actual abuser was. Let me read this email. Last one, promise. Also, kindly consider that an innocent man, which has now been proven following final judgment, had his son wrongfully taken away from him last year with lies told about me in relation to that I strangled my son Austin Murray. He just hurt himself in the maze on the thistle. And although I can't prove the following statement, my belief is that my son's nan was told to change her story by her legal firm, thereby dumping the blame onto my son, saying his dad has strangled him, when he apparently mentioned that I strangled him. But my son's nan, by saying that she views me as no threat, she changed her story in court, you see, my son's nan, saying that she didn't think I was a threat. She thought my son was safe with me. Um, like it's merely speculation on my side, and I can't prove it. But my belief is she was told to look like the good guy or the good lady in court, change her story, and not bash the father. Does that make sense? Because let me keep reading this, it'll make sense. Although I still do think that it was introduced for my son to say that I strangled him, following the psychiatrist's report. Quote, this is a direct quote, and this will be proven in the next couple of uploads when I upload this. So, quote, the most incredible thing that he had ever heard relating to the memory retention, how a child could say this by himself, including the medication sides. Dada would not have strangled me had Dada had taken his medication for his ADHD sides, as Dada was crazy. Yeah, a child saying that all by himself at my son's age when he was, just under 6 years old. It's ludicrous. And the voice recording of Dr. Bosey, the psychiatrist, will show this truth. I think I better upload this in the next couple of uploads in order for me to make sense to the viewer. So that will be uploaded, the interview and the voice recording when I saw the psychiatrist. This has been proven to my son's guardian via voice recording when we last spoke on the phone. At Contact last year, I want it known for the records that I was emotionally exhausted after having to undergo all of my tests and seeing my son at the contact centre last year whilst being creepily stared at and studied. And this, in conjunction with the shock that I was in last year, heavily contributed towards my actual conduct at contact with the supervisors. Additionally, because my attitude was bad, it was. But additionally, this is the reason as to why my attitude was so bad. And I firmly feel that I was failed in my parenting test, not with what I was necessarily saying, but my attitude as a whole. I have asked if I can redo another parenting assessment in the future with a fresh attitude for the records. The final straw last year at Contact came when I was about to miss my birthday last year with my son. I was about to miss my first Christmas with my son last year. And when my solicitor, who was an excellent one, had left the National Legal Service firm, I could not take it anymore. And I showed my son the truth last year before Contact was suspended. I showed my son the truth because he kept asking Dada, why? Why am I here, Daddy? You've done nothing to me. Why? I showed him the truth of his nan abusing him. And he knows. Yes, this was not child friendly. And I let my son down here. Maybe, at least with the authorities I did. So I have to say that, right? But consider, is it not damaging for my son when he was confused behind why his father is not involved in his life? To me, that's a bigger pain point. And I ask that this point is acknowledged. However, for doing what I did, I admit that I was wrong here, and my actions were indeed not child friendly. This is true. However, an innocent man who had his world turned upside down and inside out with lies could only take so much. And yes, it's true that I was highly emotional back in November. For the records, now that an innocent man has had time to heal, rest assured that this time around at Contact, when it's reinstated, it will be different. When I see my son, again relating to my actual behaviour conduct, my behavioural conduct. You have my word here in order to promote transparency and accountability for myself. Something that the local authority simply can't do. Kindest regards. So that's the email for taken care of. And this video is it's the longest one yet I think I've done. Nearly a whole hour in. And I hope it hasn't been too long. I'll try to not go on too much longer, but I guess as I haven't been live for a while because of I've got 21 days, you see, to get high courts, to go to the high court to challenge the injunction order. And again, as I keep saying, the judge never granted me merit. We've gone over the reasons as to why. But in the process of him not granting me merit, that's not to say that I do not have merit. And it's true, whilst most, and it takes a lot of time. It's an art. You know, the last few days I've been doing this, talking to firms. Most don't want to hear it. Most just want you to pay up. There are compassionate souls out there, and there's good people out there, but they're few and far between. But one guy I spoke with earlier had compassion. He gave me, he was saying, look, we can't take your case. This firm offers a lot, but he emailed me after the phone call, and he gave me a long list of duty-free solicitors, and he said, you know, I really feel for you in your situation. You know, let me help you out. So there's good people out there. There are, but they're few and far between because, as we all know, it's all about the coin. It's all about the money for many firms. Just like it's all about money for the courts and the political corrupted agendas that they indeed run. The solicitors, most certainly, it's the same thing. But yeah, so I was very lucky and fortunate there, and this is why I've not been live, and that's why I've gone very long in this one. We're going to end on a positive here, a big positive, and we're going to go over my son acknowledging his father at the last contact centre. When I saw him at the last contact centre, please do excuse me if I'm talking weird. It's 20 to 1 now in the morning. And I'm trying to like navigate work with my legal stuff and my YouTube things regarding the documentation. So thank you for your patience. But now, let me just pause here and take a sip of strawberry tea. Cheers. Thank you for that. Now we'll end with two positives. We're going to end with a conversation my son and his father had, and it was one of the contributing reasons as to why contact was suspended initially, because the authorities don't like it when they hear the child speak like this, acknowledging the father. I'm going to let this speak for itself. 3, 2, 1, play.
We do, but
This is orange juice and that's Vimto.
that's right. It's orange juice and Vimto, isn't it? So that's the good news. Now, we're going to end this video soon, but can I just say one more thing?
But it's only 4 minutes has gone.
This is true. We can go a little bit longer. Can I just say one more thing?
Okay.
Dad had felt, for the records, I felt very bad making you upset last week, saying that you don't get to spend Christmas and Dad's birthday with me. That made you upset, didn't it?
Yeah.
And I was upset too. This is why Dad wanted to share his good news. Because I made you so upset last week, and Dad felt he owed you this to make you happy. Please talk, son. Go ahead.
So, everybody, this is going to be a great time when we're out of contact.
It's going to be very soon.
Yeah.
Very soon. My solicitor's almost guaranteed it, you know? So, and you show nothing but love to your dad, haven't you? And I have with you. Yeah? There's been no, you know, we've all been loving and joyous, playful. There's love there. We just love each other. There's no, you know, I can't say too much, but you love me and I love you, don't you? Yeah?
We're going to end this video in 2 minutes.
We are in 2 purple minutes. You know, Angel.
Do you have anything to say?
I want to say that I worked very, very hard for you, and I had to work, and I was fighting for you, legal things, and I put you first over work. I did that for you, okay? You know why? Because I love you. You're my boy, alright? Do you have anything to say?
Yeah.
Tell me. Tell us.
Next year, we're gonna be out of contact. I know I already say that, but I'm gonna see a better thing.
Yeah.
See a better thing after contact.
And Bella can take you to, where would you like to go? Legoland? Should we
Legoland.
get to Legoland?
Yeah, but you also said we're gonna go to Disneyland.
Well, one thing at a
And
time.
Italy for
Yes.
the lovely pizza.
And we did say that, didn't we? It's
Yeah.
for the lovely pizza.
We have 1 more minute, so we
Yes. Double high five.
Let's end it.
Love you. Let's end it.
Everyone.
Teachers and tutors.
So I wanted to show that. Please excuse that was following. Well, I showed you teachers another video. Anyway, I wanted to show that because my son, as you saw, really acknowledged his father. Unfortunately, this was deemed as not suitable behaviour by the local authorities. And you know, you heard about times my son said we got 2 minutes. I was only allowed to have a grand total of I think 8 minutes to video records, because I used to always like video recording, just to show a timeline of authenticity, purity, and truth. And I've got so much data, you know, that my son will know the truth one day as he becomes older, and all the confusion that he's in right now, he will know. When he's like 8, 9, 10, 11, he can watch these videos. You know, when he starts to figure it out, he becomes teenager, he'll know everything. It's all here, it's all saved, everything's documented for him. And that's my way of giving back to him and finding a way for him again by being resourceful and showcasing the truth. Because he deserves to know the truth. He really does. I'm getting a bit emotional here. Please excuse me. And yeah, it sucks because the plan was we were going to go out of contact, and then, you know, the authorities, they said I wasn't being child friendly and, you know, being too real with my son behind what had happened. But it's also, you know, I kind of brought it on myself as well because, as you heard me in the emails, I was very emotionally exhausted whilst undergoing all my tests. And this is my opinion. This is what these sick fucks, excuse my language, they do this. They do it by design to wear you down, to chip away, to batter you. They batter you. And they want you to emotionally break. And unfortunately, I took the bait. I was so emotionally exhausted, and when I was missing my first birthday and my first Christmas with my son, and after my solicitor had left, I just couldn't take anymore, and I could see how damaged my son was becoming as well with contacts. So the good news is, this time around, they're going to work towards us being at contact again, but it won't be 2 days a week. It's going to be far less than that. And we're taking it slowly. And there's a long way to go. But at least, if nothing else, my son will know the truth one day. And we will be together when the time's right. And I'm working very hard with legal teams, and in talks with a few legal aids, and I'm going to get the right one for me to challenge this injunction order and to be a key figure in my son's life. Right now, the injunction / non-molestation order is until my son's 11. That's 4 more years. And my son's nan is 72. So you can imagine his physical needs being neglected. That's why I found a loophole in the old court papers. And they blame me. In the old court papers, they say, you're being manipulative. You're being controlling the system. I'm like, well, you should have done a better job. Because legally, you should have done a better job at stating not seeing my son in public, because the old court orders were not to go into my son's nan's property, which I adhere to, and not to go to my son's school inside the grounds, which technically I did adhere to. And I followed what was written. Now, on this non-molestation order, they they rectified that mistake, and they for sure made it clear about these things, and you know, put a whole bunch of things on. But, you know, my point is how they can so easily blame you for their own ineptness relating to making things clear in black and white of not what to do. Like I saw my son in public, it wasn't stated on the old court order. And that's how I was able to see my son multiple times in public whilst we were in court proceedings because, you know, because of the situation. But I'm glad. And it was meant to be, and it's worked out for the best that way because I've been able to see my son at impromptu moments in public, and that will be showcased in future uploads as well. So I think with all this said, there's one more thing to show. If you made it to the end of this video, by the way, much love. God bless you. Thank you for consuming it. I am doing my very best, considering that it's nearly 10 to 1 in the morning. And I am doing my very best to try to improve every time I do upload. As I'm garnering more fans and getting more experience with uploads, I am getting better slowly yet strongly and surely, I feel. Still a long way to go, because that's how it goes when you embark on your YouTube journey. You got to get it wrong to get it right, right? Right. you know? But I think overall, I'm doing all right. Could be doing a lot better, but I most certainly could be doing a lot worse as well. So I want to say thank you to my fans for your endless love and support and patience and understanding. And I want to show one more thing. And I'm considering about doing shorts as well, because it can't all be doom and gloom, as I say. And I might pick a day like Throwback Thursday or Throwback Wednesday or something like this. And I experimented earlier on just using the wonderful Facebook features of, like, you know, the music and the filters, and just an idea going forward behind the emotions and some light as well being shed, not just the darkness. Let me play this last video. 3, 2, 1, play. It's got its tasty kebab. It's got a lovely kebab there. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. It's just an idea I've got in the pipeline relating to uploading things to Facebook, using the music and the filters, and just, you know, making people feel the emotions, and you know, relating to raising a child from the emotional, psychological, spiritual, and playful perspective. With all this said, man, whoop, God, smacked my laptop one by accident. So late, I'm nearly falling asleep. So, with all this said, much love, much respect, God bless, and I better end this live here. Thank you, everybody who is coming on this journey with us. It does, it's no hyperbole, it does mean the world. And it means so much to me that many individuals feel that I'm providing value and insights behind their situation. And I'm glad that my mess can be somebody else's message, and you know, showcase what is possible if we never give up. You know. So Yeah, imagine with all of your minds, believe with all of your hearts, and achieve with all of your minds. Going to end the life here. Much love and respect. Peace. Thank you.